Welcome. Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome and hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome and hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome and hello, hello, welcome. Welcome, hello. Thank you for joining me. Of course, it is a very, very special midweek hump day edition of Poco, Moss, the show where we give you just a little bit more. Occasionally, usually we're pretty crappy, but once in a while we heat one up. Once in a while we give them the old fastball, give them the juice. But anyway, usually, yeah, the show's pretty crappy. But if you want to stick around, you never know. Personally, I'd go do something else. Watch like a rerun of Perfect Strangers, maybe some of those epic fail videos. A lot of good stuff out there on YouTube. Present company excluded. Anyway, no, we welcome you. We say welcome, hello. It's Poco Moss, of course. They call me Little Danny Cornbread DeCarlo. They call me the Tugboat. They call me Stubby Cohiba. They call me Hurricane Lopez. They call me Stock Karen. They call me DJ Patchy Drizzle. They call me MC Al Dente. I don't know what the hell else they call me. Anyway, welcome and hello and welcome. It's Poco Moss. Guys, why am I back here like the broken record that I used to be talking about Sofi Technologies Incorporated again, ticker symbol SOFI? Why did I sell stocks like Google? What else did I sell? Microsoft, Tesla, many others, some Broadcom. It's just been too much of a run, and I just poured it into Sofi Technologies Incorporated. Normally, if you guys go back and what I've told everybody, don't do calls around, don't buy calls around earnings, don't look for bull runs, or don't load up pre-earnings, don't take the bait, because they almost always hit this stock and drive the price down after the ER. Now, can that go on forever? No, because I was reading analyst estimates. They're looking for 2026. They're all pegging it. SoFi said 55 to 80 cents, and they've stuck to that. And if you know anything about SoFi management, they always sandbag heavily. So they're 55 to 80. They generally beat the top end of whatever they predict. So I don't know what analysts are basing, their models on 55, maybe 60 cents on the top end. So 60 cents to 80 cents, a massive difference, 33%, obviously. You know what I mean? So I think Noto comes in, somehow hits $1, because I think this business is evolving very quickly. And I think it's difficult to model the EPS a year ago for what's going to be going on next year, because the business is evolving so quickly from sort of this traditional, lending model to all these other things going on. And then you have the wild card of, the administration talking about selling, privatizing a lot of the student loans it has on the books, which would be most people think would be a huge boon for SoFi, a little feather in their cap. You know what I mean? So a lot of people think it's not inconceivable at all that they could make like $1 next year. And you think, how can they do that? The thing is incremental margins. Like, this is a company that was sort of built very, it was built by an engineer. I mean, this model was built by an engineer. Anthony Noto is an engineer by training, United States Military Academy top. He's not a lawyer. He's not a finance guy. He's not an MBA. He's not one of these stuffed suits with a tiny wing and a cocaine problem. You know what I mean? He's the real deal. The guy's a freaky genius. Like I said, it's like we have 2 CFOs, 2 of everything. Why am I selling to buy more SoFi when it's like 4 times my average cost? I mean, my average cost is coming up a bit because I keep buying dips. The reasons are many, but I still think nobody really has their finger on the pulse of what this company is and what it's going to be, and how they've set themselves up for success by owning the entire thing, the backbone, the technology, the banking charter, everything. Say, oh, some of it started slower than, we'd hoped. And, that's fair. That's a fair criticism. But many, many years from now, when I hope to be old and gray and retired somewhere on, in a 5-star or the islands, somewhere where I can man boob in peace, this company I think is going to be an absolute monster. And all these AI companies, I'm not sure about. All these chip companies, they may have seen their moment in the sun. But people are not going to stop using money. People are not going to stop borrowing money. People are not going to stop using technology to make that more efficient. People are not, going to stop transitioning from the brick and mortar banks to, primarily utilizing an app as their main banking interface, particularly when SoFi is going so aggressively into these, AI assistant, AI service. It's only going to make them more and more efficient. Let's see who we got. I hope it's not a lurker. It is not a lurker. I love it when it's not a lurker. I'm thinking it's like a bill collector, somebody trying to sell me some of those tiger penis pills because I'm always buying those. So I got those guys hitting me up all the time. Some guy's trying to sell me his parlay picks for next week.
Are you still chasing parlays, Danny? Of course I'm still chasing parlays, Maury. I need a new wig also. This one's a little played. I say blondes have more fun, but my balls are sore. It's not even Friday night. You know what I mean? I don't really know what that means. I'm so sleep deprived, guys. I'm just doing this show as like a break from my spreadsheets and tax returns and insomnia. I was scouring my vast accounts, my records, my trove of records, my library for any possible deductions, because I'm just getting bent over a barrel and getting a guided tour of the 50 states by my old friend Uncle Sam. You know what I mean? Dude, if you're my God, I'm not one to complain about paying my taxes, but the percent, if you're out here in California, and I love California, I don't want to go anywhere else. Move to Texas. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Go fuck yourself. I don't want to move to Texas. I've been to Texas plenty of times. No, thank you. Oh, but it's great down here. No, it isn't. Okay. There's like, well, you could get the same mansion in Texas for $600,000 that you can get here for $12 million. I know. People want to be here. So anyway, I like Texas. I just don't want to live there. The whole reason you chase money like a rabid dog in LA is because you can afford to be poor. Like if you become a multimillionaire and you're just incredibly successful, you get a tiny cottage like near the beach that's falling apart and just infested with termites. Your plumbing doesn't work. You get sand and poop coming out of the faucet. Oh man, tale as old as time. You know what I mean? I don't know why I'm so fond of saying, you know what I mean? But anyway, I forget what I was talking about. Why I'm selling other stuff. I was talking about why I'm trimming and taking profit. What has just enhanced my confidence in SoFi? Well, number one, the chart, and I'm a bit of a technical idiot, but it served me well. I do caveman charting. I look at what the chart is. I look at what the chart's telling me. I try to keep it very, very simple. I look at volume. I obviously look a lot at shorting. And I put the puzzle pieces together, and the puzzle pieces to me scream buy, because I don't think they can drive the stock down below 25. And critically, okay, we'll talk about this channel, and we'll talk about the fact that the stock has made a higher low and a higher high than either of the last 3 days. It made a higher low, of course, than that fourth day with the huge red candle. And actually, if you look at this, it actually made a higher high than any of these other 3 days way back here. So this candle is extremely bullish. Now, it was a green day. So it's not a big gain. They obviously ripped burned the house down there at the end of the day, but retail's not selling. Nobody's selling. It's churn. It's basically price fixing, and the volume is too high to keep doing this. So they're shorting the living hell out of the stock today. I mean, take a look at this. 1 million shares shorted, added to the short position. That's like a full percent back on the short position, up to 9.4. And then they borrowed an additional 5 million shares. So to me, everything's lining up for an attack after the ER, but I think this might be the ER. I think this might be the ER where the EPS ramp starts, where they start to make moves, where some of these cost cuts, some of these head cuts, some of these things start to show up. The lower ratio of stock-based compensation to revenues and profits.
One of these times they're going to burn these shorts and they're going to just burn it to the ground and they're going to get them off the stock, because this stock should not be, shorted this heavily under 30. Now, what was I saying about the chart? Why I'm so confident this is going to leg up from here? Look at this little range that it's trying to get bound in. I don't know if you're going to call this some kind of flag or just a little bit of consolidation, but basically the stock's trying to consolidate here between 25 and 29. Now, if you zoom out, if you take an overview, look at what that's completely above here, guys. That range is completely above this range where it was trading initially at the all-time highs between, 1450 and 2460 area. Now, yes, it did jump that one time up to 28, 29 bucks, but that's neither here nor there. These spikes with nothing behind them don't really mean anything. And look at the comparison in the volume. The volume here as compared to here is like 3 times the weight. And it's to me, it's obviously looking to regain this channel. I kind of pushed this out of the way so you can see a little bit better, but should be, I think it was more like right in this area. Yeah, that makes the most sense. I don't know. To me, this is looking to move back up. You can already see an uptrend forming. And there's too much. I always say the most bullish volume on this is 60 to 80 million. You don't want to see that low volume, 30 million, 40 million, even 20 sometimes. It used to be 16 when they were just, clamping down on the nuts down at $4 and $5. But I'm telling you, if this bull market keeps up through earnings, and earnings is what I expect, I don't think they're going to be able to step on it. Goldman coming out with this fake upgrade to 24, then KBW, the fake upgrade from 14 to 18 or whatever. Anytime you quote unquote upgrade your price target to 50% below the current price, you're not upgrading. You're basically trying to pee on the stock. You're basically trying to piss in Anthony Noto's Wheaties. And you don't piss in my Papa's Wheaties. These guys they have on this stock are just absolute freaking hacks. I mean, absolute hacks. Touchdown Timmy Switzer, former second guitarist in My Chemical Romance. You may not recognize him without his lip ring. Okay, his success rate's gone up quite a bit, but I just don't know how you justify that $18 price. Or you got touchdown Will Nance. I don't know if he's any relation to Jim Nance or any of his other Nances, but again, complete hack. I don't know. Switzer's been coming up, so got to give him some credit there. Got the bologna sandwich, the Fivehead, the old crow, raising from 6 to 12. He doubled his price target. I mean, very bullish, very bullish. Only 60% more downside from there, Giuliano. God, I hate everybody. Goldman's 30 stocks with signs of froth. These are the 30, highest volume stocks going. What else was I going to say? Essentially, the reason I'm buying is because I think there's such a high likelihood this becomes a huge company. I mean, I look at a model like a JP Morgan, like an American Express, and I think they're going to do things that these companies never even imagined, but they're in the right sector. I describe it as surface water. If your goal is to get fresh water, call it that profits, or revenues or whatever, money, and there's a freshwater lake right on the top and you can pump all the clean water you want, that's what I would call the financial sector, because it is so giant. It is so, I guess, omnipresent in our lives. You're like, well, what's AI going to be? Let's shout out the Beach Boy. What's up, Beach Boy? How you doing? Welcome to Un Poco Mas. We're giving you a very little today. Very, very little. Let's see here, guys. Sorry, guys. But yeah, definitely shout out to the great Beach Boy. Bringing sand to the beach, if you will.
The great David Massarelli. Sorry, I'm macerating your name. SoFi. I think this ER. Everybody was really on how the last one was just great. Just transformative. Let's see. Hold on one sec, guys. Hey guys, sorry about that. I had to take a call. I've got clients going absolutely insane trying to get their taxes paid and different issues, different documents people need, and all kinds of stuff. It's been one of those days. I haven't still been working like I don't know, at least 72 hours, very little sleep, but oh, it's all coming to an end. I got all my stuff paid, and oh my god, what a bloodbath. Well, I guess the good side is I made an S load of money in the market last year. Even this year is even better. But the only downside of that is I guess you got to have pay a huge tax bill. A lot of short term capital gains. I was doing a lot of trading. I can't help it. I'm not a trader, guys. I'm not a trader. I used to be. I used to day trade and stuff. I wasn't very good at it. I don't have the attention span. And then I don't like trading. I like long term holds. I like, stocks like SoFi and CRISPR, Microsoft, Google, different stocks, JP Morgan, the stocks I can just hold forever. But the way this market is being run by these market makers just creates these insane swings where Tesla goes from 120 to 400, back to 150, back to 450. I mean, if you see that stuff coming, you have to trade it. Sorry, guys, just more more stuff going. I probably shouldn't have done a show today. It's probably a totally stupid idea. But anyway, this whole channel's a stupid idea. So we've got the great Devin Ishida here. Great Devin, what's going on? Peter, Pumpkin Eater, he's here. Applied science at applied bioscience. What the hell is that? Please stand by. Sorry about that, auto lurker. I left you high and dry and bald. That's no way to do it. Plus, all the Bitcoin miners are becoming data set. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's Peter Thiel trying to track down Satan. Yeah, like, don't give money to charity. Satan's coming. I don't know. I don't know if you guys saw any of those comments. Like an 8-hour speech about the Antichrist. I guess. But there's a lot of wackiness out there, guys. I don't know. The fact that you're a billionaire and a brilliant businessman, visionary, doesn't necessarily mean you're all necessarily corpus mentis. Hey, who am I to judge? I'm neither a visionary nor a psychiatrist. I'm merely a fat suburban douche. So doesn't have much of a ring to it. Anyway, I don't know why I was looking at these Goldman Sachs picks, but let's take a look if there's anything else. Seeking Alpha to me has some of the best, SoFi content, but I don't know. I can't get this thing to move. Sorry. I got a Tandy computer. I bought at Radio Shack in 1987. It's got the 2.5 inch drive, so I think I have 64K total. I'm running this live stream on. Julia Ostian is doing SoFi versus Upstart. I'm curious just to the obviously, they've been going in different directions lately. Just curious what her conclusion is. I don't want to read it because I know enough about these two companies that it doesn't really, Today, SoFi is becoming a digital version. Choosing a bank, stock it up. Size more complicated, small, very volatile. It's far more dependent on the broader economy. It remains to be seen whether they can formally return profitability. Upstart can be a buy, but a speculative bet totally relies on your assumptions. Like a compelling buying opportunity. It sounds like she likes SoFi more than Upstart. Upstart is far more risk, and I think Upstart is just it's not diversified. That's one of the reasons I love SoFi. It's not conservative the way they approach lending, the way they approach standards, the way they approach rolling out features like options. They just don't rush anything. This company is not about pumping the next quarter. This company is about pumping the next decade. And those are the companies I want to invest in long term. Now, I'm fine to trade other companies. I'm fine to trade Upstart or whatever. But yeah, I like to trade the companies I know the best, particularly when they're experiencing this crazy volatility. Like, look at what just happened to CRISPR. I mean, they just crashed the stock in 2 days for no particular reason. Makes a huge recovery, of course, because there was a bunch of buying pressure pushing up to 80. So, if people want to buy your shares at 80, why would you want to sell them at 65 just because market makers, tie their wiener in a pretzel knot? Put it through a meat tenderizer. But so these guys never learn. They think they're just going to call up, KBW and the Fivehead bologna sandwich and, whatever rock the chia pet's hiding under. And they're like, just hit the stock after. But nobody's listening. Nobody's listening. Retail buys all these. A lot of these things are not working. You know how bad these guys got burned? You know how big their short was from 7 and 8 and even 6 and 5? They're clueless on this stock. Retail, I mean, I know they made a lot of money killing options and all that stuff for a couple of years, but ultimately the ones who took the short as a fundamental position were so completely wrong. It's mind-boggling. Institutional ownership continuing to hold up puts more and more pressure on these shorts trying to get back in at 20. And you say, okay, 28, the stock just 4x'd. It has to go down. That was my faulty logic with Palantir. And I'm not going to repeat that same mistake. SoFi can run up to 50 or 100. Did you think Palantir was going to run up to 200 from, 8? Did you think Hood was going to run up where it did, 15x or whatever, almost overnight? I think SoFi is just as good a company, if not better than any of those. And again, the model, the simplicity, the industry, the sector, it's an infinite pool of money to draw from, and it's readily accessible. Palantir's so uncertain to me where Palantir will be in 10 years, if anywhere. Say, well, they're going to be huge. This AI is just going to keep. If it puts money in their customers' pockets, and only if, as well, they're able to use data more efficiently. I think it's very, very foolhardy to think nobody else can do this and nobody else can sell these services. There's plenty of companies, aggressively pursuing AI, and it may not be, as deep, as good as Palantir, but you have to look at return on investment. If you have to spend 10 times as much to completely AI your company, or you can hybrid AI your company for a much lower cost and still get a lot of the benefits, this is all going to shape you like we're all in on AI. Well, you don't even know what you're all in on yet, because you don't know the applications, you don't know the costs, you don't really know how your competitors are going to. And I know people are already using AI. I'm not so that stupid, but I'm just saying the level of spend you're seeing has to eventually be justified by increased profits, increased margins, and there's going to be winners and losers. And I would submit mostly losers. I think a lot of these companies just spending and spending right now on AI. I don't think they have a clear path how they're going to get those dollars back and how they're going to make ROI. I think there's right now, everybody's just chasing it. And like the Salesforce guys, like, okay, it's agentic AI. It's going to change everything. It's going to interact. It's going to be as smart as a person. I don't know when that's going to happen. The AI I deal with is terrible. Now, like Copilot Pro is great. I just did a deep research report on, projecting SoFi's EPS, and I disagree with the veracity of their conclusions. To paraphrase my cousin Vinny. But I really like Copilot, and I really like Gemini. I mean, I really think these tools are changing the way people do business, the way people interact.
Tons of other stuff. Oh, so many people working. So I guess it's just to sum up as clear as I can. I think SoFi is as close to a sure thing as any company growing this fast has ever been in the history of stocks. I think they built something truly special, truly unique, and though it might look similar on the surface to some other things, it isn't. It's the order of operations. It's the order they did things. It's the foundational work that was not sexy, did not pump the stock. They don't just constantly talk about AI, and they talk about what's real, what's really happening within their company, how their company is, affecting people's lives for the better. And as you see these rate cuts, it's just there's no company that's better suited to take advantage of everything that's happening right now, whether it be, privatization of student loans, whether it be interest rate cuts, whether it be a housing market that I think, mortgages are going to be very strong for SoFi. Student loan refis are going to be extremely strong for SoFi. There's going to be increased demand for personal loans, but SoFi is in a great position because they pick the best of the best to write their own loans to. Anyone else who they can't, who doesn't meet their lending criteria, they can lay off or, send to their marketplace or, just take them out behind the barn and kick them in the nuts. Give them a free beer and send them home. A bag of ice for their sore nuts, of course. But I've studied this company. I've watched this company. People ask me about companies all day. They're like, "Oh, you don't know about this?" I'm like, "No, I don't, because I'm not buying it. I'm not planning to buy it, and I have very, very little time in my day. Believe it or not, I'm a very busy person. I have a lot of business to do, so it's like I enjoy making these videos, but it's not like I have time to sit around studying every single stock, every single earnings report. So a lot of stocks, I don't know anything about them. Now, if you tell me to learn about them and I'm interested in buying, believe me, I can learn about them. I have the tools, It's just I don't have the time or the will to try to become an expert on every stock. I'm not somebody like I own a ton of stocks, but I go heavy on some, try to catch these bull runs. I've been very successful of late in doing that. But some years, I get slapped. Cold hard salami on a Wednesday. Oh, anyway, so I don't know what the hell I was talking about. Yeah, the aggressive shorting today is just they can't push. The best they can do is hold 28 while aggressively shorting. I mean, if they're shorting here, the close, and they can't push down here shorting 1 million shares today on relatively low volume, what are they going to do as we get closer and closer to the ER, which is now less than 2 weeks away? I think Tuesday the 28th. I mean, the noose is tightening. There's no room to maneuver. There's no time to maneuver. Reshorting here seems unwise, but what choice do they have if they're trying to kill options? Are they trying to kill options at 28 or are they just trying to kill options at 29 and 30? How heavy are the options? The last time I looked, it was pretty heavy money coming in. And then the price action on CRISPR is so weird. It's just so odd. Like if you look at the 1 day on this, it's like it's totally manic. Like the chart itself looks great. I mean, it's recovering here. It's already back above this point it tested. Came back basically back down and said, do we want to drop down below this point back here? Nope. We're going to go right back up in very convincing fashion. And they're trying to step on this thing too. But if you look at this like these dailies, I mean, this 1 day, they smash the stock down below 70 twice. And then it comes up and touches 73 3 times, 4 times, almost 5 times. I mean, this is some just wacky price action. But there's no way to get around the fact that, while this flag is looking very messy, it looks much like this one. Comes down. I mean, look at these two guys. you see this big green candle here, gap up. I mean, there's a couple of them here, but it's basically this candle, tops, red candle, pushed back down, and then these two green candles. I mean, it looks very similar. So it's looking like it's trying to create another flag probably above this line. I think it personally is just going to move up. There was a ton of buying on CRISPR pushing into 80. Heavy volume, heavy work. I think they shorted again. I could be wrong. I guess Ortex could tell us, or at least give us their best interpretation. Oh, what are we doing? They're filing a bunch of forms, probably some stock-based compensation. Oh, they filed for an offering. Okay, so that's why I think it got stepped on. Let's see. They got so many. I guess I should have looked at these fines. This wasn't a CRISPR video, so I haven't really had time to look at these, but I don't know what this share offering is. 600 million. The sale aims to support the company's financial strategy and growth. I really, people always freak out about offerings. I really have no problem with at the money offerings. I think it's, not a bad way to raise money. Yeah, obviously, convertible notes, there's many options. But people freak out about offerings, but I don't think it's a huge offering. And I think it shores up their balance sheet, which is already pretty solid. But the thing is, with these biotechs, runway is a lot shorter than it seems. It's like, oh, we have enough money to last through Q4 of next year. But by the time you hit like Q1, maybe you're on like empty and you reach like alarm levels. So it's much better to raise money from a position of strength when your stock is doing well and when your, cash supply is adequate, so you're not desperate. But I don't think they really needed to raise money here. But to me, I don't know why they're raising money. We could have, hopefully more announcements, perhaps acquisitions. Doesn't really make sense if there was like they were going to get bought out, to me, that they would do a money raise, but I don't know. It could be some kind of double bluff misdirection. Highly unlikely. Came through Jeffries. I mean, Jeffries is good. They're, in my experience, they don't do like junk deals. But I don't know. It's not great news. I mean, as a shareholder, you never like to see a money raised. It's never really good in the short term, but definitely probably an opportunity if they drive it down, to go ahead and add some shares. So surprisingly, yeah, only down what is it? Let's see. So it's not even down after hours. That's funny. I would expect to see an offering. What CRISPR Therapeutics positive CTX 460 gene editing data means for shareholders. So this is what I was talking about in my last CRISPR video. It's sort of this was in mice and rats. This data is coming in these models, I guess. Basically, they're going in vivo with a single dose gene correction and editing errors, genetic errors that cause disease within the body and permanently fixing them, with one dose. So read about these results. They're saying the stock is overvalued. Fair value estimates from $14 to $132. I mean, that's like not very useful at that range. It's like a 10x range of possible values. It could be worth 14 or it could be worth 30. Sorry about that, guys. Just phone's going crazy today. So anyway, these are probably, I personally think CRISPR is as ripe for buyout as any biotech company. And say, oh, it's a big company to buy out, not for a major, pharma company. I mean, the market cap right now is still only like $6 billion. So even if they bought it out at, pretty big premium, you could buy the company for like 10 billion. And you get a lot of pipeline for that. You get a lot of IP for that. You get these platforms, you get their ex vivo stuff, you get their 40% of, the sickle cell deal with Vertex. You get the cash payments, from Vertex over time. So there's just a lot to like about this company in the form of, if you're a potential suitor. Yeah, everybody loves XRP and everybody loves Ethereum right now. Yeah. So anyway, guys, I was buying a bunch of SoFi today. I bought I think I bought a little like 1,100 shares. Purchased my JP Morgan account. But yeah, I already have a ton of shares. My cost basis was down in the fives for so long, but it's moving up because I want to own more shares of this company. I want to own all the shares I can. I mean, I still stay relatively diversified, but like I said, my confidence level in this company is just off the charts. I mean, they're very agile. They adapt quickly to challenges, to changes in the market, to regulatory changes, legal changes, anything like that. So management, the business model, very flexible. And then you have an industry that is just not going anywhere, is never going anywhere. And they're very successfully taking members and market share from their antiquated competitors. I just don't. SoFi to me couldn't be any strong. I think this is your last week. You're going to buy this stock under $30. I just think this thing's way too cheap vis-a-vis its competition that I don't think ultimately is going to be anywhere near the company that SoFi turns out to be. So that's where I'm at. SoFi is just my strongest buy, and really it's my only strong buy right now. I'm very cautious with this market. I'm very cautious on the multiples, but I think SoFi wins, and I think SoFi wins in the end. And nothing has changed about that thesis for me. My confidence, management, business model, execution, diversification, the conservative standards, all that stuff. And then the fact that it's just a platform to print money, this high quality membership base, they can sell the membership base to other vendors, they can sell products to their membership base. So the fact that they're expanding by almost 1 million members per quarter, and I think we're going to hit that 1 million member quarter sooner than later. I don't know. Did we already? I can't remember. Guys, my brain is a big, dirty sponge of crap. Anyway, fun stuff, guys. Good stuff. The great Jeremy Miller's here. The great Clyde is here. Great Devin Ishida is here. Went from 10 to I think now about 17. Well, Devin, I don't normally like to do that either, but I've been in the same boat. I've been averaging up hard because I just think this is going to be a huge, huge company. I think it's going to be a $50 stock. Then I think it's going to be a $100 stock. And I'm in no rush. There will be ups and downs. But the fact that they're rolling back out crypto, the fact that they're rolling back out options, the fact that I think some of these tech RFPs and RFQs that we've been hearing about and been tickling our nuts with for like a couple of years now, the old Chris LaPointe nut feather, they call it. Yeah, we have many RFPs out there. Well, thanks. What's that doing for the bottom line? Well, we hope to see some revenues 2050 area. Oh, perfect. Try to get my cholesterol in check so my grandkids might live. What's going on? The great Jeremy Miller, Alfred E. Miller. I'm on the personal belief that crypto is a Ponzi pyramid. Yeah, I mean, it is. It has no intrinsic value other than, the faith that the masses are putting in it. But that's almost any currency, honestly. I mean, I guess the state having a monopoly on use of force and the courts and stuff gives the currency a different gravitas, puts in a different category. I mean, crypto is just made up stuff, but some of it has utility, some of it doesn't. Some of it's finite, some of it isn't. I just don't think you can cast all crypto as the same, but I think you certainly have a valid point and a valid point of view. I have some crypto. It's not a heavy, heavy part of my portfolio, but it is a little more than it used to be because, I don't want to miss the boat. I'm a big insecure Karen. So what can you do? The great stock newbie is here. The great stock newbie. Yeah, I think it will. I think if you see what you're seeing from Bank of America, very, very strong. I mean, that's followed in the past. You know, they've been weak in the past, very, very strong. Their trading activity, I forget what else they were really strong. I was reading about their ER earlier, but today has been one of those days. I can't remember my name today. Oh, it's cornbread. You know it's cornbread. You know you love it because it's moist, it's doughy, and it crumbles under pressure. Thanks, Devin. What's up, LB? Thanks to you, I've held SoFi every time it dipped, kept my confidence going. You got it. Yeah, I've done the same. It was hard at times, but yeah, and then very rarely chase, guys. I very rarely chase something that moved 70 to from 7 to 28 like a year, but this is one of those where I personally am looking at 41 next year minimum. So I think this thing hasn't really made the move yet. I think it's just kind of coming up to sort of a reasonable fair value based on all of its accomplishments. So I think they've been still being stepped on, quite frankly. I'm fucking sick of it. Oh, we're upgrading from 6 to 12. Well, oh, I just went from 6 to midnight, Fivehead. Double your price target from a pile of shit to 2 piles of shit. God. Seriously, where's the Chia Pet? Like living at a bus stop? $4. $4, Meyer. You owe me $4. That's $2. No, not for the newspaper, for a SoFi share. It's like, dude, if you're still calling out, $5. Hold on again, guys. Sorry. I'm going to wrap this turd of a show up. 1 second. Sorry again, guys. I got deliveries. I got so much stuff coming. Let's see. I got to send one text, guys. Sorry. Sorry, guys. I just got to send these or else I'll forget and then I won't do it. And then everything will be all fucked up tomorrow. And then I'll be a big fat guy in a panic. I'll have a massive infarction. I'll fall down dead in my office. QT will get hungry and eat my carcass. Oh, it'll be an ugly situation. So to avoid all that, let me just send the text now. Sounds prudent to me. Anyway, more people started watching when I was gone. And not necessarily talking prob, but generally oil follows gold historically, and lots of big oil companies crush right now. Do any of the big ones? Yeah, I own Exxon, I own Chevron, I own most big companies. I own a little bit of. I mean, I own over 100 stocks, so I'm pretty well diversified. But I have certain stocks that make up a big percentage of my portfolio. And then I have all the also rans. I kind of, diversify and balance things out. But yeah, I do own Exxon. I do own Chevron. Yeah, those companies consistently make money, oil companies. So let's see. What's up, stock newbie? You're also Daniel. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. My cousin used to run the parks department up in Poughkeepsie. Very good. Very good. I know you're from Schenectady. Upstate. Upstate. U.S. Treasury made up stuff. Well, everything coming out of the government right now is sort of misinformation made up. I mean, I don't know what else is going on right now, guys, but I guess they can't put out any of the data because of the shutdown or whatever. Yeah, the surface water analogy, I think, is quite brilliant, Chris. Thank you. It's like if you're trying to get your horse some water and your horse is thirsty, are you going to do an elaborate like well system and dig down 1,000 feet and try to get the purest water? Or are you just going to go to the lake you can see right there and just drink? Anthony Noto is like, hey, why start at the start when you can cut right to the finish and just go right to the money? He's like, they asked the guy, why do you rob banks? Like, that's where the money is. Why are you going to take over, fintech? Why are you going to take over financial services? Because there's an infinite market, infinite money, great margins. These dinosaurs have been asleep at the wheel. They've been counting on people to be too lazy to switch, but people see how much money, time, energy they can save, how much better the, user experience is, UI, whatever, UX, UI, surface, under the glass, over the glass, up my ass. I don't know. I don't know what any of these things mean. Ask Tevis if you want to actual bona fide corporate speak. I don't lead a team. Tevis is leading a team. I'm scratching my nuts, smelling my finger. What happened? Did NVIDIA report earnings? I thought NVIDIA already reported. No. I think, who is it today? Bank of America and then JP Morgan. Transamerica, Pacific Life's good whole life insurance policies. Okay, very good. What are you selling insurance? Am I right? Or am I right? Or am I right? Right. What if you just want a mini water? Well, that's probably some type of a Freudian comment on the size of your junk, Jeremy. I don't know. Of course, I am trying to overcompensate with a giant sparkling Saratoga. It's like my lifted truck with 46-inch tires. Gee, mister, you must have a small wiener. Sure enough. It's that kid from Airplane. Hey, Billy. Wildly inappropriate things you can probably never put in a movie today. Ever sit on your lap? What's going on with that pilot? Up to no good. What are you guys all talking about life insurance? Everybody sick? Which I believe work with about 18 different companies. Happy belated birthday. CEO Kramer, now CEO, I'll be selling life. Trump's base go higher. I'm afraid of that stock. Devin is a blast. Some great music. Tabadaki Method Trucks, Band of Macon, Georgia. Government Mule. Moonshine. Oh, just read what your hat says, Danny. Hey, Emilio. Yeah, my hat says not a lurker. FinTech Wrench. Best in the business. So anyway, I guess that's about all. I don't know. Wasn't much to it, but big bunch of crap. Anyway, everybody who compares SoFi to something, I think for the most part, is picking SoFi. And again, you might be riding high and living large with Upstart and not Upstart, but Hood, and God bless. But personally, I would be taking some profits on that stock. I said yesterday, stress test your runners. And if they're going to be insane EPS multiples, there better be insane growth and insane margins. And I don't think anything I'm seeing, in the financials fundamentally can justify these multiples that you're seeing in some of these stocks right now. People like a stock like CrowdStrike, is trading very rich multiples historically. Is that the same thing? I really think that's a little bit different. I don't think they're really reliant on AI. Their revenue growth I think it's still overvalued, but I think it's much more of a real company and will stand the test of time a lot better than, some of these also ran fintechs that are just a little bit shy in the shorts, if you know what I mean. But anyway, it's time for SoFi to fossilize the bank of dinosaurs. Guys, I think this is the ER that absolutely cements the growth story, that puts it completely out of any reasonable doubt. And we're going to see the start of the EPS ramp. I think next quarter could be a lot better than people think. And I think next year will be a lot better than these analysts think. Next year is the year EPS pops off and goes insane. And if they can beat that 80 cent number, somehow $1, and you talk about GARP, you talk about growth at a reasonable price, this stock is grossly undervalued. The fact that their, EPS is trailing a little bit behind some of these other growth stocks is simply a function of how they decided to set up and grow their business models, grow their business, and not rush things and do the proper foundational work, which I'm a huge fan of as a shareholder. Anyway, guys, enough of me filleting SoFi and Anthony Noto, but I have a limited skill set. So basically, if you got a tiny wing, everything looks like a hammer. Un poco más. Y'all heard.